Hey boys, welcome back to the channel and some exciting news. Well, not news, but an exciting time of the year has officially rolled around again, and that is Nrl Supercoach has opened up to the masses. So, as you can see up there, round one kicks off in 44 days. So, it's always this time of year you're itching for some rugby league. It's still a fair way away, but it's ticking down. It's starting to tick down, and the Supercoach. So last year was a shambolic performance. I honestly don't even remember where I finished. I finished in the tens of thousands overall for the remainder of the year. I started really well, and I think for even up until middle of the year, I was going pretty solid. And then I don't remember exactly, but I think I went away or something happened where I couldn't update my team for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden, I had a couple of really bad weeks, drop low, and then Supercoach is a funny one where I've always played for overall, and if I start going badly, it's easy to lose interest in Supercoach. When you get behind the 8 ball and you can't really catch up, it's you sort of lose a little bit of interest. So yeah, back into the year, I don't even think I kept updating the team and stuff, but after a bad year, and it goes in cycles. I think the year before we had an excellent year, finishing in the top 1,000, and then the year before that I think we had a bit of a, not a shocker, but not our best. So I'm trying to bounce back this year and hopefully have a good one. It could be affected. We'll see with everything going on in COVID. Hopefully it doesn't affect everyone too much. But there's a couple of new changes to Supercoach this year to sort of help with potential players getting ruled out, and that is the amount of trades has been up to 42. I think for the year, 42 for the year. I think previously, what was it, 37? 35, 37? So a hefty increase. Another big change actually is instead of the massive trade week where you had 5 trades on a certain week, and it was usually in the I think it was second buy, something like that. This year, and I actually like this idea, I think it's pretty neat, and that is you select one week where you get those 5 trades. So you get one big 5 trade week, but you get to decide when you use it. So it's an interesting little strategy sort of maker for sure. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be too good to use. You're not going to use it for the whole year because you don't want to waste it. So you'll have to, don't be afraid to use it, but also don't want to waste the 5 trades. So, hopefully we can take good advantage of that. And I like it. It's just it's a good little I wouldn't mind, honestly. I like it. Personally, I would have liked if maybe they could have spread it out, have two that you could choose and maybe have them as 4 trades. Get two to use throughout the year and have 4 trades in each of them. I don't know. That way, it's not all resting on that one week, but it's still a good trade, good little addition. The other thing, there's a couple other little things. They can update positions on the fly. So if a good example is Matt Burton this year is just a 5'8". Even though he played pretty much all centre last year, he's gone to the Dogs and he's picked to play 5'8", so he's only selected as a 5'8" on the game. But I don't know, let's say the Bulldogs start playing him in the centres, and they can update him to a 5'8" centre. They can't take away positions, they said, but they can update them on the fly, which is good. It's not really it doesn't really affect too many players, in all honesty, but there'll be the odd one. And then the other thing is that you can reverse trades after a lockout. So previously, if you made your trades, the lockout happened, even if your players that you traded hadn't played yet, you couldn't reverse the trade. So that's the other thing they changed. I think that's all the additions. You can go on and have a look for yourself if you're curious, but let's just go through our initial starting team. Now, I always do this just, because why not? It's always fun to just get a little draft team out there to see how much your money sort of can get you early on. It's obviously going to change a lot from this point because, new cheapies will come through, other guys that sort of you're 50-50 on or step up or step down. So we'll just quickly go through who I've selected at the minute. At the hookers here, we've got Harry Grant and Chris Randall. So Randall, obviously, with the unfortunate news of Jaden Brayley, going to be missing a good chunk of the year. He's sort of like the obvious sort of cheap hooker. Haven't looked too much at too many other cheap hookers, but he's definitely, most people are going to pick him up, I would imagine. There's a couple of little things like Kurt Mann could slot in there. Even Phoenix Crossland could take minutes off, but I think Randall is a good little cheapie to start the year, unless someone else comes along. And then Harry Grant, he is suspended for round one. I think it's only round one, so I'm unsure if I'm going to start with Grant, but I do think he is probably the best dummy half in Supercoach. However, you get a guy like we'll get it up here. We get a guy like Damian Cook, who is only 575, so close to 100k cheaper, and still a really good average. He didn't have his best year last year, but he averaged 65. He's a pod. Only 5% of players have him at the moment, and even a guy like Cameron McInnes is a lot cheaper as well. I don't actually have McInnes, so I thought I had McInnes in my second row, but not at the moment. And I think McInnes is a guy that you'll want to have. So I'm tossing up maybe getting rid of Harry Grant for McInnes or Cook. Reed Marnie as well. I think he's probably priced accordingly. Brandon Smith also. I don't know. Smith is missing. I can't remember what he's out for something, injured or suspended probably. But I don't know. I think Smith is probably he's priced to his max, I would say. So I wouldn't start with him. But yeah, McInnes and Cook both pretty good options, I would say. Yeah, so I don't mind that. The front row, we have got Payne Haas and Jai Arrow. So Payne Haas, honestly, he was sort of a lock-in for me. He's as cheap as he's been in a couple of years. He still averaged 68 last year. He played 20 matches, so he's back to full fitness. As you can see, 54% of players own him, which is unsurprising. I think he's sort of the best front row option. Isaiah Papali'i, I was half tempted, but it's just too expensive. It's just he's just too expensive, and I cannot see him doing what he did last year. I still think he'll be good for the Eels, but I cannot see him averaging 80 for the year. He was unbelievable, but just a little bit too expensive for a front rower, in my opinion, to start the year. 7% of people have him, so he's not. Definitely, people are putting the faith in him. And then Jai Arrow, I don't know. I've just got Arrow there for now because he's fairly he's underpriced for what he can do, but I don't know. He just obviously with Cameron Murray there, Murray's the lock. Arrow plays more in the front row now for the Rabbits. His game time is sort of all over the shop still. And I don't know. I'm probably not going to start with Arrow, but it's just sort of what he can do at the price, which is tempting. But there's other decent options for decent price. Pengai Jr. is pretty popular. He's a risk. He's a risk. A lot of people are going to him. Playing for a new club in the Bulldogs. Well, see how that goes to start with. Where is he getting a back row spot there? I'm not too sure. Is he going to be playing front row? A bit up in the air for Pengai for me at the moment. Fisher Harris is always very consistent. Papali'i didn't didn't have a terrible year, but not his best year last year. He's starting pretty underpriced, honestly. Only 1% ownership. So honestly, Papali'i has my interest. But again, Papali'i he's starting to get to the age where he's slowing down a little bit. So maybe good reason for the drop off there. And then, you've got other guys around that 500k, which is solid. Tino, he was okay last year again, not a standout. I thought he'd be better. And then at the moment I got Tepe Maroa as a cheapie. He's sort of the obvious cheapie front rower at the moment. Probably, starting on the bench, playing for the Storm. I can't imagine him scoring too amazingly, but he is a good player. He is a very good player for sure. You got guys like Xavier Willison at the Bronx who, again, I don't know. He's obviously a gun, but is he going to get any game time there? Wait and see. And then I've got Georgie Burgess, who is back at the Dragons. So yeah, I don't know. George, he could be a nice little pickup. Again, depending positions. This is all pending. I honestly haven't even really looked at team lists at all. I'll probably look at those, in the coming couple of weeks, because I do want to start doing some like real life discussion videos talking about sort of my predictions and stuff. So I'll get into sort of the nitty gritty of it at some point. And then the second row. So the second row, always very, a lot of good options here. A lot of high scoring, high budget options. At the moment, I've got Angus Crichton, who is sort of my first pick in the second row. I mean, just in that Roosters team, you got Walker, with more experience. You got Cleary back. You still got a very good forward pack, a very strong back line. I just think it's a team with a lot of points, and Angus Crichton, he's a point scorer. He's similar to David Fifita in a sense, not as strong a ball runner per se. Like, he's not breaking 10 tackles a game, but he hits the line and hits the holes better than anyone, and he scores a bunch of tries. He's got the offload, and he also has the work rate. Like, he's got a better base than Fifita. Fifita just has a better, he can just score 2 or 3 tries just like that. So Fifita, for me, he's just a little bit pricey. Again, anyone like at that like 700 plus, it's just, I don't know. I never like to get players at the start of the year at their peak price. And I think, and not having Fifita is a nightmare, because you just watch a game and then all of a sudden off a tap, he just breaks through 4 tackles and then just scores a soft try, and it kills you inside. But I don't think I'm going to start with him, because I don't know. It's tough to fit everyone in. With such an expensive player. But Angus Crichton, I think, is probably the best high-range back rower, in my opinion. Second guy here, Josh Curran. I was very tempted again by Tohu Harris, and I definitely could swing and get Tohu, because I just love Tohu. Like, he's as consistent as they come. He doesn't play Origin. Like, he's always up there. He's always up there, and he's never well owned. Like, he's always a super pod. So yeah, I love Tohu Harris, and I probably, depending, we might swing with Tohu. But Josh Curran is also a gun in the making. So I like Curran. Again, wait and see on like positions. Like, is he gonna get surely he will, but potentially he won't. It's sort of up in the air, but we'll see if Curran gets a starting back row. But he's got that upside as well. Like, he's just, I don't know, he's not the biggest or the strongest, but he just breaks tackles. He's got an offload. Yeah, very, very good player. And then Ola Kawatu, who I had last year, and I picked him up when he was cheap, and he did very, very well. Like, he was one of my in a pretty bad year, he was one of my best pickups for the year for sure. And I think, I don't know, again, that Manly team, it's just got points in it. And, this guy, I mean, he's similar to your Fifita, he's similar to your Crichton, and even Curran to an extent. Just that high ceiling back rower. I think he is underpriced at 512. I think he can definitely go higher, because he's just like not the highest work rate, but he's a monster. He's an absolute monster on the edge. So you just get some good ball, give it to him. attacking the line, he's going to get tries. He's going to get tries every couple of weeks and get some big points. So I like Ola Kawatu a lot. Other good guys, I mean, again, you could pick up Papali'i. I'm not going there. Cameron Murray, I was very tempted by, but I don't know. Cameron, I got to be honest, everyone at the Rabbitohs, I'm a little bit unsure about for sure. I think Murray is still going to have a great year, and I'm sure he'll score well. But yeah, just I don't know, Murray. It just worries me a little bit, the Rabbitohs this year. Harris, like I said, very good pickup. And then going down, I mean, Pengai Jr. again has great upside. Is always a bit of a risk. Ryan Madison didn't have a great year last year. Like he played 16 games, I guess, but he's not a bad pickup at that price. I mean, geez, he has been much more expensive in the past. And then, yeah, again, a lot of guys around that, 500k who are pretty solid. Kalamatangi is also a guy. Oh, I do like Kalamatangi quite a bit, actually. He's a guy I would love to squeeze in for sure. I think, very similar to Ola Kawatu. Just, he has the upside, he has the work rate. Yeah, I like Keon quite a bit, but at the moment he's not in the team. But I wouldn't be surprised if we shake things up. And for our bench, we got Andrew Davey, I've got him there for now. I have no idea if he's even in the team, but like, he's a really good player. He's got all the skills for Supercoach, and last year he went to the Seagulls, and he was like a really good potential pickup, and then he did his ACL in like his first run in Manly colours, and didn't play for the rest of the year. So I don't know. It's a wait and see on Davey, but if he can jag a spot in that forward pack, like he's a very good player and a very good Supercoach player. So depending, I've just got him there for now, just in case. Picora, again, like a cheapie, absolute gun in the lower grades. I don't see him getting. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't see him getting huge minutes at the Bronx this year. Maybe some bench time, but. Yeah, well, again, I wait and see. Him and like Xavier Willison, both a couple of monsters coming through that, if not this year, maybe next year, are going to be big. And then I've got Reuben Cotter as sort of a more expensive in the back row. Again, wait and see. I know I've said that like 100 times already, but there's talks that maybe Tamalolo plays in the front row, and that means Reuben Cotter goes back to lock. And I love Cotter. Cotter is honestly a really good player, and I can't remember what he did last year, but he started the year strong. He only played a couple of games, and then he missed the rest of the year. I can't remember what he did, but he's a really good player. So I hope he gets a starting spot. I don't know if I personally think Tamalolo should play in the front row. I don't know, but Cotter is a really good lock. He could play dummy half as well, so he's a wait and see, but potentially he could be a sneaky gun in the to start the year, maybe. Moving on to the halves, so. I don't have Nathan Cleary. I've got Sean Johnson at the moment. Nathan Cleary, again, he's just... I mean, maybe I'll try to squeeze him in, but again, like there's a couple of things here. One, he's coming off what do you have, a shoulder reco in the off season, so it's up in the air if he'll even play round one of the season, and then also if he does, like coming off a shoulder reconstruction, like it's just, there's risk there for sure. And then he's at his absolute peak, like he averaged 108. He's at a 950k. It's just so hard to fit him in. It's so hard to fit him in without really like neutering the rest of your team. There's definitely positions I could cheapen, but at the moment, yeah, I've gone with Johnson because he's cheap. If we go down here, like he's 462. He averaged 52 and he played the 10 games. There's definitely a worry here that he's just, his body's just not up to the NRL rigors anymore. But if he can play a full season, like, he is so underpriced. I would imagine he's going to goal kick for that Warriors team. I mean, maybe Harris Tavita or even Reece Walsh, but I personally, I think Johnston would be their best kicker. So goal kicking, you would expect if he's fit. And then, I don't know, goes back to the Warriors this year and has a standout season, maybe. I'm tempted. He's so cheap for what he can do. So I'm on the Johnson train at the moment, but yeah, that could change. That could change because the risk of injury is definitely high with Johnson. He's getting on, and the hemis, the calves, everything is just, it's starting to give out on him, unfortunately. But then you got like Cherry Evans is also really expensive. He had a great year last year, but I just failed to see him replicating that. But again, you got Tommy in the team starting, so they're a point scoring machine. Nico Hines going to the Sharks. I mean, he was outstanding at the Storm, but that's the Storm, and he's playing in the halves now for the Sharks. So I don't know. I personally couldn't spend this much money on a guy who isn't really tested in the halves, I would say, and also isn't tested in a team that's not there personally. So yeah, Jerome Hughes definitely has my interest. I mean, he's just a great player. Like, every year people are like, I think, Hughes, I don't think he can match what he did last year, but he always does. He's just fantastic. One of the most underrated players in the game, without doubt. And I'd love to, honestly, out of the top halfbacks, probably Hughes is the guy I'm most keen on. But again, he's very expensive. And then you look down, I mean, Ben Hunt is okay value. A lot of people have gone Luke Keary. I mean, he averaged 75 in his 3 games, but and again, like, he's definitely a point scorer. Him and Walker, they're gonna be hot and cold. Let's be honest. Like, they're gonna get a few low scores. They're gonna get a few very high scores. Keary has the concussion concerns, but he's not bad. Honestly, the more I look at him, I do like him a bit, because they do have a really good attacking team, and Cleary is always the front runner. Like, he just has to throw a little cutout ball to Joey Manu, scores, makes a line break, inside ball to Tedesco to bust a few tackles, scores. Like, there's just tries all around in that team. So I do like Luke Keary. Mitch Moses, I think I had him all, like, did I have him all year? He was honestly okay. Like, he averaged nearly 60. Didn't quite live up to what I was hoping for. So I'm not gonna go with Mitchie again. I'm not gonna go there again. And then I've got Lachlan Ilias for the Rabbits. So the cheapie coming through there. Obviously, Mitchell is out suspended, and Taff is going to play fullback. Now, when Mitchell comes back, does Taff maybe get the spot at half? Maybe. Like, if Taff is on fire and Ilias doesn't quite perform, there's the risk there. But I think Ilias is definitely the front runner to sort of take that halfback spot. Now, I don't really know much about him, so can't really say if I think he's like a gun player or not, but he's obviously got the talent to make first grade. So, a cheapie in the halves is always nice. And then moving on to the 5'8", I've got Josh Schuster and Tom Amone. So again, Amone is the cheapie. Well, he's not that cheap, but he is. I mean, he's a good player. He's a very good player, and I think, if he can sort of replicate what he did last year, with a full season under his belt, no Corey Norman there, him and Ben Hunt, I think, should make a pretty good combo. I would think. I would imagine he's going to play in the halves with Hunt, because there's not that many other cheapies, honestly. There's not too many other options. So yeah, he's sort of the best of the bunch, I would say. And then the Schuster one, I like Schuster. I like having a forward in the halves. Like it's just bankable points, you know. Even if he doesn't have like a really high scoring game, he's still going to score like 40, 50, you would hope. And he's just got that upside as well. So I like Schuster a lot. Cody Walker again, he's just a little bit too pricey. Adam Dewey had a fantastic year. He was unbelievable last year, but I can't see him replicating that. Cameron Munster, is he out round one? No, he must be playing, right? Munster is a gun, so I could definitely like the look of him, but I've gone with Schuster, and I like that pickup. And then in the back line, we got Lomax, Suwali, Tago, Mann, and then Penasini, Koala, and Tas as our bench players. So Penasini, so the backline here could definitely change up a lot. I think Penasini, Suwali, and Tago are pretty much locked in. I'm pretty locked in. Suwali and Penasini for sure. Tago, like, he's definitely got a lot of talent. Is he going to get that? Is he going to get that center spot? That's sort of a wait and see. But he's definitely he's a good player. So he's a wait and see. But he's not that cheap as well. So that's why I'm a little bit in the air. Kurt Mann, I've got at the moment. I don't know. There's talks that he could play lock. If he plays starting lock, then I think he's an absolute steal. If he doesn't, then I think you'd get rid of him for someone else. And then Zach Lomax, I've got... Again, I don't usually like to go too many expensive backs, but I think Lomax, like, surely that Dragons team is going to be better than last year. I'm not expecting massive things, but surely they're a bit better than last year, and hopefully Lomax can have a decent year. He only played the 12 games. He still averaged 56. You know, he's a goal kicker. He's their go-to man. So I like Lomax a lot. But yeah, it's always a risk. Where is and then Suwali is a given as well. Like I said, who are the other? I mean, Brian Toto is the one guy you would love to have. You just know he's going to score well. Who else? Who else in the top echelon? There's not a lot. I mean, maybe Val Holmes if he plays fullback, potentially. Actually, there was a guy I was looking at before this. Tyrell Sloan. Where is he? You've got other guys. I mean, Joey Manu's always pretty solid, but expensive. Where is he? Ewan Aiken was pretty good. Is he playing in the second row this year? I don't know. he was pretty good last year, honestly, though. David Nofaluma is starting as cheap as he has for a long time. But where is... I mean, there's a couple of guys I'm looking for. I mean, Bradman Best also is cheap compared to what he can do. Herbie Farnworth is not bad. Yeah, Tyrell Sloan, I'm guessing he'll be playing fullback. Again, I'm not sure of the Dragons, but he looked really good. Excuse me. He played 5 games. He averaged 60. He is expensive, but if he's playing fullback, then he's sort of... I would probably switch him with Lomax because, I mean, having a fullback in your centre wing is just very, very nice indeed. Katoni Staggs also, he's the guy I was looking at. Yeah, 433. I mean, that's cheap for what he can do. Obviously, the injuries and everything else. He hasn't played... Jesus, when's the last time he played a full season, man? It's an absolute killer as a Broncos fan. God, I hope he can play a full season. But you'd love to fit him in as well because, like, he's... I mean, yeah, 433 is very undervalued for what he can do. So, yeah, there's some tough stuff. Also, dude, there's so many. I sort of made this backline really, really quickly, but Matthew Tomoko is an absolute weapon. I don't know how is he 0%? Tomoko, like... Surely he plays. I know they've sort of said Croker is guaranteed a spot, which I think this might be his last year if he doesn't pick it up. But man, Tomoko is an absolute unit. Like, he is very, very good. So yeah, I don't mind him at all. And then yeah, there's some other decent ones for sure. But yeah, it's the backline. Yeah, the backline is definitely going to change up without doubt. I sort of put it together pretty quickly. And then the fullbacks were pretty easy, I've got to say. I've got Tedesco and Pappenhausen. I mean, Tommy, he's 1.25 million. I can't believe 8% of people have him, dude. Like, I just want to... If you have him in your team, like, man, that is expensive. Oh, man. And it's just like, you can have one Tommy, and you would pretty much have to go another cheapy fullback. Or you can have two absolute guns. Like, Tedesco and Pappenhausen potentially can average as much as Tommy. Like, he is not going to get 143 average this year, surely. Surely not. But, you know, you are risking it. Like, if you don't have him, like, he could come out and just go absolutely ballistics. But I mean, Tedesco and Pappenhausen is just such a safe combo. You know, Mitchell definitely had my interest, but he's obviously suspended for... How long's he out for? Like, a couple of games, I think. Who else? I mean, Kalen, honestly, I was looking at Ponga. I know everyone hates Ponga now. Everyone's on the hate Ponga bandwagon because he's apparently the most overrated player of all time. You can't talk up a player online. I mean, I know Fox Sports love talking about him, but he's still a great player. People are absolutely mental, dude. I love Ponga. But I'm definitely tempted. Like, you know, not having Tedesco is a risk. But I mean, Ponga goal kicking, he could average similar, and he's a lot cheaper. But I mean, Tedesco with the full strength Roosters, it's hard not to have Tedesco. It's really hard not to. And then other guys, I mean, you know, Holmes, Walsh, even Manu, Brimson. You know, there's good options. Jaden Campbell is a gun, but you just can't fit him in. You just can't fit him in. So yeah, that's the team. This video has gone on long enough for sure. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the content. You know, make sure to get into Supercoach. I know it's a favorite of the fans. It's just a great game. So yeah, stay tuned for more. We'll definitely be pumping up the Supercoach stuff. I think last year I went through every position and stuff. So I'll do that again. It's always good fun. So yeah, make sure to like and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.